Hello to you all. Just bear with me while I share my screen. Valentin, has that come through nice and clearly?
Yes, thank you, Kieran.
Wonderful, thank you. And thank you very much for that introduction and, of course, to OpenWay for inviting me to join this panel today. So in my session, I want to look at three things. The first is to provide some thoughts on the definition of digital wallets. The second theme will be to look at where the market is today, and then I want to finish by providing some perspectives on at least some of the factors that will continue to drive change in the digital wallets landscape. So to begin, so what are digital wallets, or rather where does this term come from? Now, one of the challenges in any discussion around digital wallets is definitions, and the term digital wallet is used to describe a growing array of quite different products and services, many of which have become considerably more sophisticated than the notion of anything that you may want to keep in an actual wallet or purse. Now, this is where the term originated from, of course, and that's really because the earliest propositions were effectively a digitized version of or a wrapper around something that you already had, like a payment card or a loyalty card. But that link is less and less tangible nowadays. And today, the way to consider a digital wallet, at least from the Celent perspective, is that it is a service designed to remove friction from digital payments or digital commerce journeys. To dig into this a little further, it makes sense to look at what tend to be the core functions of most digital wallets today. And there are, broadly speaking, three areas. Now, the first is, of course, payment services, which are often front and center to the offering, and security is clearly a very important element of any service that touches on payments, and we've seen a number of different innovations in that space, for example. The context for the wallets, or the form factor, is also important, as removing friction from many customer journeys does need more than a one-size-fits-all approach. And this is one area, again, where we've seen lots of innovation and change. When I talk about context, that refers to both the channel, which is most commonly mobile, but not always, and the form factor as well. And wearables, I think, are a good example of some of the different approaches that are taken to wallets today. Non-financial services are also an important element of a lot of wallet propositions, particularly those run by merchants, with merchant-specific services such as advance ordering, ticketing, and loyalty, all very important use cases. So where are we right now? That's looking back, and where is today's markets? And many of today's most successful wallet offerings bear only a passing resemblance to some of those early products, simply because the need for digital wallets has changed in line with the rapid shifts in customer expectations, merchant needs, and digital enabling technology. So to put it another way, the fundamental concept of the digital wallets hasn't really changed, in that they exist and they are successful where they make it easier, or in the case of financial inclusion, possible for customers to transact in the digital ecosystem. So customer needs have changed, and wallets and wallet propositions have changed with that. Now, alongside these changes on the demand side of the equation, growing competition among wallet providers for engagements and footprints and customer activity has also been another important catalyst for the changes that we've seen over time to this concept of digital wallets. On the left of the slide is a view of the different core elements of the value propositions offered by many of today's wallet offerings. So contextual relevance is more or less table stakes now, so that's been removed from this view, but all the elements that were discussed on the previous slide remain an important feature of the market. It's also worth noting that each pillar has become much deeper, and financial inclusion has also become a very important area of activity. And worth noting that in addition to sort of deepening of the services available in each of the three areas I'm showing here, it's also worth noting that we see growing convergence between the pillars. So offerings, wallet providers are increasingly reaching across two, or in some cases, all of those different areas. So we look at first at financial inclusion. There are a few things that are at play here. One, of course, is the growing reach of high-end feature phones and smartphones, which have supported the creation of multifunction wallets to address the challenges of financial inclusion in a growing number of different markets and situations. Telecoms-driven mobile money or mobile financial services initiatives have been important in this space for some time. I think this is an area that a number of financial institutions are, of course, looking to target as well. So at Celent, we have an annual awards program, and we've given awards to KBZ Bank in Myanmar and Banco del Estado de Chile, with Model Bank Awards in the last 2 years for their success in using digital wallet propositions to address the needs of underbanked consumers. And those are just two examples of many, and of course we'll be hearing about some more of those as we work through the webinar. Worth noting that this isn't just about consumers either, because supporting micro enterprises is also a very important element of the financial inclusion topic. Looking at the next area, so digital payments remains the starting point for many wallets, but we've seen expansion in the range of channels, form factors, and transaction types included here. Moves into other areas by wallet providers into spaces such as lending, ticketing, or loyalty services have also become quite common. I think we've also seen a number of wallet providers also look to expand their reach into areas such as person-to-person payments, and that's both at a domestic level but also cross-border. The final area here, of course, is those non-financial propositions, and ticketing, loyalty, and other services are very common within the merchant space, and this touches increasingly on sort of event or context-specific wearable devices too, such as wristbands for use in a theme park and that sort of thing. So on the supply side of the space, I think there has been a growing desire to build customer engagement and making it easier for customers to transact with a range of different providers that has also increased the activity in the wallet space. And so there are a wide array of different types of organisation that offer wallet services today. Now this list is far from exhaustive, but there are wallet propositions today available from banks, payment providers, merchants across a range of different areas, big tech firms, telecoms companies, of course, as well as firms in transport and the health sector. And these are just a small number of examples, and the list is incredibly diverse. Now, in each case, these providers are all looking to meet their own, often differing business objectives and to enhance their own value proposition through offering wallets. And I think this again explains why we see such a growth in variety of different wallet offerings and propositions available in today's market. So to conclude, I just want to focus a little bit on some thoughts around what's next. The most important perspective, I think, is that the same forces driving change in today's market will continue to do so. So we should expect to see more new wallet offerings emerge, and those that exist today, I think, will become more feature-rich and support the next wave of change in banking and commerce. Alongside this, there are three further quite specific factors that I want to just quickly touch on. The first is a growing emphasis on an innovation around financial inclusion and the success of many current initiatives alongside the reduction in cost or the ease with which wallet offerings enable providers of many types to serve customers using wallet offerings. We'll continue to see a growing focus on this area in the future. New payment infrastructures, I think, is also an important theme, potentially a bit more from the advanced market perspective when it comes to sort of payments technology, but Overlay services on top of real-time payments infrastructure will become increasingly important in catalyzing a new range of different wallet services. So examples from Europe include Swish in Sweden or Mobile Pay in Denmark that highlight the success that wallets built on top of real-time payment infrastructure in particular can bring. And of course, for wallet providers, real-time payments infrastructure can also potentially reduce operating costs, while the cost of funding, in effect, whilst also improving the value delivered to merchants. The final area I want to quickly touch on is what we see in terms of the impact of open banking and a shift in attitude toward partnerships on the part of banks. And so at Celent, most of our work is done with the banking ecosystem. And so we've seen over a number of years now a growing shift in attitude towards partnering with other organizations. And open banking is a piece of this. It's far from all of it. And we see a growing shift in emphasis when it comes to working with third parties, particularly where those third parties can provide access to a customer segment or help service a customer group that would perhaps be beyond the reach of a bank by itself. And I think increasingly that may also include a number of standalone wallet providers as well. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So thank you very much for listening. For anybody who would like to find out more about Celent, the information is there. With that, I will hand back to Valentin and look forward to the Q&A later on. Thank you.